Vanchita, even unwilling. Jeerna, deteriorated. Jaraya, old. Vasasi, garment. Eva, like. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Despite your unwillingness to die and your desire to live, even at the cost of honor and prestige, your miserly body will certainly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. You will repeat. Despite your unwillingness to die and your desire to live, even at the cost of honor and prestige, your miserly body will certainly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. Forward. The words Kripanasya Jijivisho are significant. There are two classes of men. One is called the Kripana and the other is called the Brahmana. The Kripana or the miserly man has no estimation of his material body, but the Brahmana has a true estimation of himself and the material body. The Kripana, having a wrong estimation of his material body, wants to enjoy sense gratification with his utmost strength. And even in the old age, he wants to become a young man by medical treatment or otherwise. Dhristra is addressed herein as Kripana because without any estimation of his material body, he wants to live at any cost. Vidura is trying to open his eyes to see that he cannot live more than his term and that he must prepare for death. Since death is inevitable, why should he accept such a humiliating position for living? It is better to take the right path, even at the risk of death. Human life is meant for finishing all kinds of miseries of material existence, and life should be regulated, that no one can achieve the desired goal. Dhritarashtra, due to wrong conception of life, had already spoiled 80% of his achieved energy. doesn't want to quit. It is Vidura who is coming to him and asking him to quit. So Vidura comes to chastise his big brother. Last class we discussed the three royal brothers. We discussed all of the Mahabharata until in brief, until the birth of these three brothers. Who are the three brothers? Dhristra, Pandu, and Vidura. Dhritrashtra and Pandu being the royal princes, but Vidura is born at the same time from a maid servant, but still considered to be the brother. He's the little brother of but he's the main personality. From the last life, he's Manduka Muni. So, sorry, he's not Manduka Muni. He is Yamraj, but here living this particular life because of the curse from Manduka Muni. Manduka Muni was a very nice sage, tapasvi, and he lived in the forest. He had a little hut. And one night, a thief came and entered his house. And the thief was being followed by the soldiers of the king. So when they caught the thief inside the hut, they came and asked Manduka Muni, "Is there somebody in your hut?" He said, "No, because he really did not know. So he said no. And then they went to look and they found the thief. And they found all the jewelry that he had stolen from the king's palace. So the soldiers considered Manduka Muni to be an accomplice of the thieves, and they arrested Manduka Muni. And Manduka Muni, through the system of the state, got the punishment of death through a shula. Shula, it's a very bad death, very bad punishment. The shula is a how do you call shula in English? Like a spear. Yeah. It's a spear that is supposed to go through the rectum of the person who's being punished and come out of his head or something. Very bad punishment. So Manduka Muni was almost given that punishment. And then the news got to the king that Manduka Muni is actually caught and he's being given the punishment. So the king announced, cancel his punishment. He cannot be so guilty. He is not the accomplice. He's not the king. Anyway, Manduka Muni got released. But Manduka Muni came so close to getting that shool into him. He was so scared, mad. But he wasn't mad at the king, and he wasn't mad at people who arrested him. He was actually mad at the person who wrote his destiny to have to go through that. So the person who wrote that destiny is, of course, Yamraj. So he went to Yamraj and he told Yamraj, "You are not fit to be Yamraj. You don't have a good nature. You're not good enough to be Yamraj. How come you gave me a punishment like that?" So, well, you got a punishment like that because of your own karma. Because you did that to insects in your young you are facing the karma. Say, why? As a child, one should be exempt. If you are going to punish children in such a bad way, then you are not so smart. You're thinking, although you are sitting on the chair or the Singhasana of Yamraj, but you are no better than Shudra. I curse you to become Shudra. So he got, when he apologized, he said, no, look, it's my duty, it's my job. So Manduga Muni limited his curse to one life. So, okay, for one life, you have to become Shudra, take birth as a Shudra. So, that, because of that curse, Yamraj got born. Yamraj himself actually got born as Vidura. And it is said earlier in this chapter that when Vidura or Yamraj was serving as Vidura, Aryama, the head of the Pitraloka, went and took care of his job. Aryama is a personality who is the head of the Pitraloka. He filled in for Yamraj. So at the same time, people say, okay, there is Dharmaraj Dhristra. He also represents Dharma. And then there is Vidura at the same time, who's also Yamraj. But the difference is that Yamraj, that Vidura is actually Yamraj. Yamraj himself came as Vidura, not an expansion of Yamraj. Actually, Yamraj came and somebody had to fill in for Yamraj, and that is already given there. Adam filled in for Yamraj. Whereas Dharmaraj is the representation of Dharma or representation of Yamraj. He is not actually Yamraj. Whereas Vidura is. So this chapter talks about how Vidura chastised Dhritarashtra to quit home and concentrate on self-realization. Quit home, get out of here, and take to the next chapter in your life. And the main thing in this chapter is the chastisement. And out of the chastisement, the heaviest chastisement is in this verse. That's why this verse is like in a way, is a main verse of this chapter. One more time, Vidura is saying to Dhritarashtra, despite your unwillingness to die. Now imagine he's talking to his older brother, who's king all his life. Despite your unwillingness to die, your desire to live, even at the cost of honor and prestige, he is humiliating Dhritarashtra very well. Your miserly body will certainly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. That's a very, very heavy chastisement, even for simple earthlings like us, let alone for such highly elevated personalities, and the relationship of these two being older brother and younger brother, king and being just an advisor. Dhritarashtra, many people have issue with Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, how could he have 100 sons? Dhritarashtra have 100 sons. This is mythology. This is fiction. This cannot be true. How Dhritarashtra had 100 children. Gandhari only gave birth to one fetus, and that fetus was like a lump. It wasn't a child. So she gave birth at night, and the ladies who were helping Gandhari showed her what she gave birth to, and she got completely embarrassed. My God, tomorrow everybody is going to find out that instead of giving birth to a child, I gave birth to this big lump. Throw it out. We will just say that nothing was born. Throw it out. But Maharishi Vedyas found out, and he enlightened Gandhari that this is not a lump. This is actually 100 fetuses inside this one lump. So the way to give birth to all of them is this whole lump has to be divided into 100 pieces and be put into 100 different clay pots. And in time, from these clay pots, your children will be born. So she gave birth to 100 sons from that one fetus. Now, can you imagine today anybody having 100 children or 100 sons or 100 children? Can you imagine that? Yes or no? No? Can anybody imagine that? No.
Yes, Muslims have that.
100 children?
Yes, 123 is the world record.
Real?
Yes, with multiple wives, of course.
So, this is in the news that from China, many people, China has this one-child policy. So most Chinese have learned to live with one-child policy. But everybody wants their dynasty to grow, so they kill the daughters and they keep the sons. And that has made such a big disparity. If everybody is going to keep the sons and kill the daughters, then who is the son going to marry tomorrow? So because of that reason, many sisters are having their own children marry each other. Because my sister has a son and I have a daughter. So I have to give my daughter to somebody. Daughter is such a scarce commodity now. So I might as well give my daughter to my own sister's son, because it will be very hard for him to get a wife. That is what is happening. Now, these are regular Chinese, but then there are upscale, high-class Chinese who are very rich and becoming even more richer. They are worried about their dynasty. Who's going to look after my business? Who's going to look after my things? So one child is very little. So what they're doing, this is coming from the news, that they are having surrogate children. Where? In America. In California, there are so many surrogate clinics where people can have their children by in vitro fertilization and so on. Those who are having trouble just go to these clinics. But instead, what is happening is these clinics are, whatever these clinics are doing, they are serving 40% to the Chinese. So the Chinese rich men, they are sending their frozen semen by air to these surrogate clinics. The surrogate clinics are charging $200,000. They will find a mother who will give birth to this child from this semen and look after the childbirth and everything for $200,000. And after that, the child is registered with the father's name of that person who sent the semen from China. And so far, the law in the United States is whoever is born in the United States, no matter who the parents are, where they are, what their nationality is, no matter what, they become automatically American citizens. So these Chinese sitting in China are having American children with their own DNA, of course, for the life they will be with it. DNA will match that, yes, this is this person's son. So what happened in California, this is the real news, that the authorities went into a building in a very, very big palace-like building, looked like a very big house in California. There are very many rich people who live in big houses. And they went inside the authorities and they saw that there's 50 children here, 50 babies. And what is so strange, all of these babies are between 1 and 2 years of age. So when they ask, who are the parents? They say, here, the parents, one woman and one man showed up. We are the parents. You have 50 children of the same age. So there is a lot of money involved that the Chinese are sending to look after each one of these children. Every month, every week, every day, these children are being looked after. Lot of money involved, but they found so many people who are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 children, but this one guy, his name is Shubho. He has 100 children in America. They are all American citizens. They are all living in America. And they're going to be educated in America. And one day, he's going to get them to come to China and look after his business. That is his plan. I was so surprised to hear that in this day and age, something like this is happening, and the law is allowing of that. There is no law against having surrogate children in America by anybody, whoever wants to have. These clinics are open actually to serve Americans who just need 1 or 2 children, but they are open to serve anybody and everybody, whoever comes. And there is no limit how many children you want. Everything costs money, but if you can send money, you can have 100 children. So there is actual Dhritarashtra today. His name is business that he wants to develop a dynasty to look after. So coming back to this verse, Srila Prabhupada in the purport is trying to explain two words, Kripana and Brahmana. So he says, the Kripana or the miserly man has no estimation of his material body, but the Brahmana has a true estimation of himself and the material body. So what he is trying to say is Kripana or the miserly man who has no estimation of his material body means he is trying to be the body. This is who I am. This is what I am. My life is meant for sense gratification. I am here to enjoy my life, and that's what it is. So only understands the body. Whereas Srila Prabhupada said, Brahmana has true estimation of himself and the body. So, two, there is me and then there is my body. Whereas the Kripana is not understanding the soul, is only understanding the body. Whereas Brahmana is understanding himself as a soul and body. There is me and my body, two different things. The Kripana, having wrong estimation of his material body, wants to enjoy sense gratification with the utmost strength, even in the old age. He wants to become young by medical treatments or otherwise. So Dhritarashtra is addressed herein as Kripana because without any estimation of his material body, he wants to live at any cost. Of course, he's lived the beginning of his life as a prince and the rest of the whole life as a king, although he was not deserving at all, but he's lived his life as a king. And now he's gotten used to of that sense gratification of living in the palace. He wants to continue to enjoy that privilege, although because you are a Kshatriya, of course you are royal, you are Kshatriya, you have a right, but once you lost your kingdom, you lost the battle, you lost all your sons, then you have to get out of the palace. You cannot be living in the palace after losing your kingdom. You are the king until you are the king. And if you lost your kingdom, that's it. Get out. Get out of the palace. But he doesn't want to get out. So that's why Vidura is calling him a Kripana. Vidura is trying to open his eyes to see that he cannot live more than his term, that he must prepare for death. That's the other side, is that you live dharma, kam, moksha. You follow dharma to get artha, to enjoy your senses, but at a certain point, you finish enjoy your senses and move towards moksha. That's the destination. But now, what Vidura is pointing out, that Dhritarashtra is in the mood of living the rest of his life as in calm. Enjoy the material senses, the sense gratification. It is better to take right path even at the risk of death. Even if you are taking a risk of death, you should take the right path. What is the right path? Human life is meant for finishing all kinds of miseries of material existence of that life he has lived enjoying his senses. And the rest of the 20% he also wants to live enjoying his senses. Whereas that's not the system. What is the system? 75%, 25% of your life goes into brahmacharya, into patan, studying, understanding. Then 25% of your life is supposed to go into a grahastha, and then the 25% of your life is supposed to go into vanprastha, and then for the final 25% of your life, you should be living as a renounced person, sannyas, or whatever way, to just focus on the science of self-realization, understanding Krishna, understanding that I am the Jivana Swarupa Krishna and Das, serving Krishna, and so on. Whereas Srila Prabhupada has given us a different system that anytime during the whole brahmacharya, the whole grahastha, the whole vanprastha, and or sannyas, if you take or not take, always serve Krishna. We always are serving Krishna. The followers of Srila Prabhupada, their life is always there to serve Krishna and nothing else. So that's the kind of life that Vidura is trying to convince Dhritarashtra to move on towards. Such a life is called miserly because one cannot properly utilize the essence of human body, human form of life. It is miserly. Why? The Srila is explaining why that person is called Kripana, who is not understanding that he is the soul and he has to work on looking after the bird inside the cage also, not just the cage. Kripana is the one who is just looking after the cage, but not feeding the bird inside. Such life is called miserly because one cannot properly utilize the essence of human form. What is the essence of human form of life? Only in the human form of life we can dedicate our life to serve Krishna. Out of the other 8,400,000 species, only humans can chant. Only humans can properly participate in kirtan, understand Krishna, and try to serve Krishna that much directly. So that is an asset of human form of life, which the miserly people do not use. That's why they're called miserly. They are just trying to enjoy the body and not paying very much attention to the needs of the soul. Like we have food for the body, and then there is food for the soul. What is food for the soul? Is serving Krishna by chanting, by kirtan, by dancing in front of him, by honoring Krishna Prasada, and serving him in whatever way, shape, or form possible. The final sentence is only by good luck does such a miserly man meet self-realized soul like Vidura, and by his instruction gets rid of the nations of material existence. So Dhritarashtra meeting Vidura right now is like a jiva, a regular jiva like us, meeting a guru. Brahmand Brahmite Kaun Bhagyavan Ji Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata. So, of course, by the mercy of Guru, we get Krishna, but by the mercy of Krishna, first we get a Guru. by good luck of Dhritarashtra, he got Vidura to show him the right. Just like by the good luck of all of us, we got Srila Prabhupada to show us the right path. Otherwise, we would be living in a miserly way and spend a life that way. So, what I also wanted to discuss, maybe I won't, I will skip it because there's not so much time, is in the Bhagavatam, there are three places where Srila Prabhupada has explained Kripana and Brahmana. So the second place is 4th Canto, 28th chapter, 7th verse. I will not go through reading it because I want to keep some time for the discussion, but if somebody wants me to read any part of it during the discussion, then I can do that. And the third place is 6th Canto, 9th chapter, and 49th verse. So this first one, the 4th Canto, is from the story of Puranjan. And the 6th Canto is from the story of Dhristra. So two other places Srila Prabhupada has explained the words Kripana and Brahmana. And of course, the Shastra always says, give whatever donation you want to give to the Brahmana, not to the Kripana. Kripana doesn't know himself what to do with anything and everything he gives. Whereas the Brahmana knows how to invest that, how to look after people and give it out. So it is said or understood that in one village, if there is one Brahmana, one such Brahmana, qualified Brahmana, then all the donations should go to him because he will then look after the whole village. Whereas if the donation goes to all the others, then they will just keep it for their own sense gratification rather than looking after the whole village. That's why Shastra always says, give the donation to a Brahmana because the others who are not Brahmana are most likely Kripana. So Shastra does not advocate giving donation to Kripana. What should Kripana be given? Guideline. Just like Vidura is coming and giving a guideline to Dhritarashtra, wanting to raise him from a Kripana standard to a Brahmana standard. That's what Vidura is trying to do. So we have a few minutes